Gustavo Lopez versus Anthony Birchak. We got minus 135 on the returning UFC veteran Anthony Birchak and plus 115 on Gustavo Lopez, who, if you guys remember, he was actually he was scheduled to fight Felipe Colares, who had to pull out earlier this week due to testing positive for COVID-19. In steps Anthony Birchak, and Gustavo Lopez still gets to fight this weekend, and I'm sure he's happy strictly for that. Personally, I like this matchup a little bit better for him too, in terms of getting a guy with a relative known name in the MMA scene. As we know, Anthony Birchak used to be in the UFC, and he was one of those cases where he was one of the few guys that actually got let go from the UFC coming off a win. So he did go 2-2 in the UFC, losing to Ian Entwistle and Thomas Almeida, and then he knocked out Joe Soto, and then went to a split decision against Delano Lopez, and then got cut. I'm not sure what exactly the reasoning was behind that, but he did get let go, and he went over to Rizin. He had 3 straight fights in Rizin where he went 0-3. Tetsuya Kawajiri, which is a very, very tough fight. Then Otsuka and Jae-Hoon Moon. I've seen the Jae-Hoon Moon fight, and that one was a little bit tough because that's where really the Risen scoring, or the Pride scoring, really came into effect. Because personally, I thought he won the first 2 rounds, but then in the third round, he looked very, very labored, and it looked like he was gassing out. And at a certain point, you could even hear his cornerman Ray Sefo scream out, "Don't look tired," or "Let's go, let's." He was referring to something in regards to Birchak looking a little bit more labored and looking tired, and it was pretty evident because we saw Moon go out there and just really start to not style on him, but close to styling, where he was just throwing a lot of crazy shit and landing on Birchak and landing a lot of good shots too. If that was a fight that happened in the UFC, we probably would have saw Birchak go out there and get the victory, just going 29-28 decision for the first 2 rounds. But that third round, he didn't get 10-8'd, but he got hit, and where the momentum of the fight completely shifted. And I think that's enough for the Risen judges over there to be like, okay, Moon probably won the fight as a whole. So one thing you have to really be sure when you're over there in Risen is that your cardio is good. Because even if you did a solid amount in those first 2 rounds, that third round is pretty much where it comes down to. And then he joined Combate, where he pulled off 2 knockouts, and then squished in between that, he had a rear naked choke victory in LFA. So when he's able to go out there and get first round finishes, he looks great. He looks fantastic, that's for sure. But my guy Gustavo Lopez seems like a guy that's quite durable. So he has been finished twice, once by John Castaneda and once by Andre Ewell. But both those guys I actually believe are much better strikers than Anthony Birchak, because more often than not, you can see what Birchak wants to do. He wants to get this fight to the ground. He's a 10th planet jiu-jitsu black belt. He has some solid back control as well when he gets the fight to that position. He has a solid wrestling base as well too. But so does Gustavo Lopez. That's something that Lopez actually prides himself on. It looks like he is the one that wants to go out there and get the takedowns every now and then. I'm not sure if that's something that he's going to want to do right off the bat, as I believe the less sweaty these guys are and the earlier in the fight this is, it actually it favors Anthony Birchak, especially if it hits the ground. So I think what Lopez should be doing is actually, trying to strike a bit. Again, I'm not the most blown away by his striking, but nor am I blown away by Anthony Birchak striking either. I think if we see Lopez, go out there, bounce around a little bit, close the distance with one of his blitz, land a couple of strikes on the end, and then just pivot off and angle off and get out of the way, I think he should be able to do that for a solid 3 rounds. It might get sticky in the first round or so, but if Lopez goes out there and puts on a pace, and you're talking about a guy who is already, getting ready for this fight. I'm not sure exactly how fight ready Anthony Birchak was. He was coming off a grappling bout in July. I'm sure he was staying active. He seems like a guy that just stays in the gym, but it's a little bit more, it's different when you don't really have a fighter in mind and knowing for sure you have a date that you're set to go on, whereas Gustavo Lopez has known for, several weeks now that he's going to be going out there and fighting Felipe Colares. So I think the readiness obviously favors Gustavo Lopez here, but overall too, I like what I saw from Gustavo, even in his fight against Merab Dvalishvili. Yeah, he got taken down 12 or 13 times or whatever it was, but the resiliency that we saw in him to continuously get back to his feet and make it a competitive fight, or somewhat competitive fight, that shows me a lot more than what Anthony Birchak has gone through. He's getting fed tomato cans on the combate scene, and then when he's going out there and fighting like legit dudes that are able to survive, the ground positions or not getting choked out or anything like that, we see Birchak start to dwindle. And I think Gustavo Lopez is capable of going out there and putting on a pace that could potentially wear out Birchak the longer this fight goes on. So I do like Lopez. I see that he is a dog. I don't think I'll pull the trigger though. I still need to see more from my guy Lopez. I'm not 100% sold on him, but I also think that this is a fight that he could potentially be favored in, So I'm not mad at anybody taking this small shot on Gustavo Lopez here at plus 115. I think that's roughly where he should be. But again, you could, like I said, you could make an argument that it could be the small favorite, just taking all the other X factors into consideration here. So, barring an early stoppage from Anthony Birchak, my guy Gustavo Lopez has never been submitted, so that's something to take into consideration as well too. So, I will also say that I do believe that Gustavo Lopez has been fighting tougher competition as of late, compared to where Anthony Birchak has, post risen career. But yeah, I like Lopez. I'm going to take him to win this fight by decision or maybe even a third round stoppage. But I do like Lopez. I think that he will do enough to, stay out of submissions and then do enough work on the feet to make Anthony Birchak work, and possibly again like finish him late or pull off a decision victory. So I do like Lopez here. Not too bad of a spot at underdog odds either. So I'm not too mad at anybody taking the shot there, but I do like Gustavo Lopez to win this fight.